Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you've never seen my face before, my name is Cassie and thank you so much for clicking on this video. So in today's video, as you can tell by the title, we are talking my top 5 tips for being successful in temping as a dental hygienist. So if you're interested, then just keep on watching. Okay, so my number 1 tip is never to book a place if you don't know the name of the office, the name of the doctor, or any details. You should use an app or use a program where you are able to read the reviews and check on the office and just see what people who have worked there already are saying about the office. And I must say that this is a game changer. Being able to know what other people have to say about an office that you're planning on working in is huge, because it allows you to know, hey, maybe they'll say the doctor was really mean. I've seen reviews where it said, hey, they didn't have any lights in the room. I had to, I didn't know, so I had to carry my own light. Where the water wasn't working, the chair didn't really move all the way, the computer was silly, the doctor didn't have any help in the office. There has been so many different variations of things that I have read, and I am grateful that I had the chance to read these things ahead of time and make a decision about what I want to do. Okay, so tip number 2. I know a lot of times after you create your profile on whatever the app is that you're using to temp, you might get an overwhelming amount of requests from different doctors, and in getting these requests, you might find that maybe one particular office has requested you for multiple days, and you're trying to decide whether you should commit to these days or not. I understand that when job offers come in, especially if you're temping primarily, you might feel inclined to want to accept all of the bookings that come your way. But I want to encourage you not to book more than one day in an office that you've never been to before. That is my second tip, an important tip, and I'm gonna say it again because this is how important it is. Do not book more than one day in an office that you have never been to and never worked at before. Now, my reason for saying this is because if it turns out that you go to the office and let's say you've booked 2 weeks with this office and you go on your first day and you have a miserable experience, now you are locked in for 2 weeks or 2 days or 3 days, whatever it is that you've accepted. You are locked in for that amount of time, and it doesn't matter how you feel, you have to show up and you have to work. And now I know you're probably thinking, well, if I go somewhere and I don't like it, then I don't have to show up for the other days. I want to remind you that most of these apps are extremely strict when it comes to temping, and therefore if you book with an office and you cancel within a certain time frame, and some of them don't even give you necessarily a time frame, you just can't cancel, they'll freeze your account or make it impossible for you to book any other jobs within a certain amount of time. So maybe there's like a probation period for 2 weeks, for 4 weeks, for 3 months. Every app has a different standard, so I want to encourage you, book one day at an office that you've never been to, see how you like it, and then decide if you should book more days with this place. Okay, so tip number 3 actually kind of ties into the first 2, and tip number 3 is to trust your gut. So I know this probably sounds like silly, random advice, but after you create your profile, right, you've taken the time to scope out the scene, read what the reviews are, you've taken your time to do the research and figure out if it's a good fit for you. If you go there and you work there and you're not sure how you feel, but the doctor or the office, maybe they really love you and they're encouraging you to come back because they are happy with the services that you provided, I want to encourage you to take a step back, take a moment to yourself to really reflect and see what it is that you want to do. You might show up to an office and maybe you're not so sure how you feel about the office or the doctor or the patients or whatever, but because you are working for yourself, you might feel like you just have to book you know, just have to book more days, have to work. I can promise you that the few times that I have not trusted my gut, I for sure paid for it, dealing with things that could have been avoided if I would have trusted that first gut feeling of something doesn't seem right here, you know? And if it doesn't seem right, then trust that feeling and go somewhere where it does seem right. Okay, so tip number 4 is to stick to your routine. If you do not have a routine, create one. Get into the habit of doing things in a systematic order that keeps you on track, that ensures that you don't leave or forget any of the steps that you are meant to cover. I think that it is so easy to be overwhelmed or anxious when you're going to different places, working alongside doctors and assistants, and everybody in an office can be very difficult. Doctors are very different. They all want different things. And so you may find that going to different places and dealing with so many different people that it might be difficult for you to kind of stay on track. You have a routine. Okay, and having one, that means that you can tweak it when it needs to be tweaked, but you have an idea of what it is that your goals are. You have an idea of what the order that things need to go are in. Have a baseline for how you treat your patients, because no matter where you are, if you stick to your routine, being in a different office and being in a different environment isn't going to change the way that you operate. And so you will be consistently operating in a way that keeps you on track and helps to make the job so much more smooth for you. Okay, so my 5th and final tip for temping as a dental hygienist is to remember how important it is to communicate. Showing up to different offices and working in different environments can be very overwhelming. It can be easy for us as dental hygienists who are so accustomed to being self-sufficient that we lean in that direction so much that we don't realize that we make our job harder for ourselves if we don't seek out extra information. And so I want to encourage you to over communicate. In doing this, you will be sure that your patients are comfortable. You will be sure that the doctors and the staff at the office that you're at are also comfortable with you. And by doing this, you'll also be able to build better relationships. As a temp, you are completely in control of your schedule. And so if you continue to build relationships with offices, show them that you're reliable, that you're trustworthy, that you care about what it is that you do. By communicating, you can ensure more days to be booked in a place that you actually enjoy. And I think essentially that is the goal. You want to build relationships with patients. You want them to be happy with the services that you're providing. And you also want to build really strong, lasting relationships with different offices and different doctors. This way, you have more places that want you to show back up. You have people who are looking forward to what it is that you bring to the table. And it's also a good boost for you within yourself to know that as a result of the way that you approach your craft, other people see that and they find value in it and they want to have what it is that you offer. I think that it's such a boost, such a great boost for self-confidence, and it's also a great boost for you because you already have so much control over your schedule, but now by forging these strong relationships and bonds with other offices, you are securing days that you can work, places that you can show up to, and there is nothing better than doing that as a temp. I know that communicating probably seems like such a simple, obvious thing to do, but I think that sometimes when you show up in a place for a day, you might be a little bit more reserved. Maybe you don't necessarily want to speak up or walk around and bother anybody, but I am never that person. No matter where I show up, I want to be sure that I know what it is that you expect. I want to be sure that what I'm doing is what it is that is supposed to be done, and so I always go out of my way to over communicate so that we are on the same page. If I need something and I don't communicate, I'm not going to be able to get what it is that I need, and neither are you. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's topics. Please leave your questions and comments down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.